What is up, Ravens flock? Huge shout out for your support for the 410 Sports Talk. James and Glenn are the best in the business. They're killing it right now. They love talking Raven talk. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel. Let's go Ravens. Big trust.
Welcome in everyone to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host James Haskell. And in this episode, we're going to discuss the shocking updated Coach of the Year odds currently in the NFL that just has us flabbergasted. I mean, and so we're going to get into it. I mean, we got a lot to talk about, but before we get into that, take a second, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We will keep you up to date on all the Ravens news, and it only takes a moment, so do us a favor and do so, please. But Jimmy, what is going on with these odds makers? Is this an accurate depiction of who is actually going to win this award? Because currently, John Harbaugh is 14th in the Coach of the Year odds. Jimmy, 14th. How in the hell? Yeah, I'd be upset if he was 4th. Yeah, how the hell is he 14th?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that one out myself. It's absolutely insane. I can't. So let's do this. I want to know who's in front of John. Because if he's going to be 14th, I want to see 14 Bill Belichick's in front of him. But obviously that's not the case. So who's in front of him?
Well, we'll start with the person directly in front of him. That's Ron Rivera of the Washington football team.
The 6-5 Washington football team?
I believe they're 5 and 6.
The 5-win Washington, not even winning their division.
They have a losing record. They've given up nearly 60 points more than they've scored on the season. They don't have a name. They're in a horrible division. I mean, horrible division. A division that, I mean, it might be the most. It gets the least respect over the last few years. Is the NFC East, right? It's nicknamed as the NFC least. I mean, they are. Yeah. How in the world does anyone take the Washington football team seriously across the league?
Yeah, no, not a single team except maybe, I mean, not even Tom Brady, right? Like, he doesn't care that he lost to the Washington football. He's not losing any sleep about it. Like, I mean.
He knows they play them in the playoffs, it's hammer time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, no. To answer your question, no. Who else you got?
Okay. Next on the list, Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints.
Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints, who are currently also not winning their division.
They're 5 and 6. They're third in their division.
Losing record. Okay, third in the division and 5 and 6.
And they've lost 4 consecutive games, Jimbo.
Nice. Okay. So they lost 4 games in a row. This is just such blatant disrespect. I don't get it. Because anyone can say, sure, Jameis isn't out there. They got quarterback issues, whatever. Don't talk to me about injuries.
No.
Because we lost our entire backfield 2 seconds before kickoff in week 1. We lost. Yes. We're down our all-pro left tackle. Say what you want about Ronnie Stanley. I could go on and on and on and on about the guys we're missing both offensively and defensively. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Sean
Payton. And the lingering injuries we've dealt with throughout the season, especially with our quarterback.
Yes, absolutely.
Who else you got? That's a joke. We knocked that one off the list.
Kyle Shanahan of the San Francisco 49ers, who, by the way, are currently 3rd in their division, 6 and 5. And, I mean, yeah, they're coming on. They've won 3 in a row, but nonetheless, they're 6 and 5, Jimmy. What am I don't understand how in the world first of all, let's just say what they've done recently. They've given up how many first round picks to go get a guy who is, at least right now, looks to be, Trey Lance doesn't look like he's knocking on the door of starting and taking over for Jimmy G. How in the world? They're 6 and 5, Jimbo.
Yeah, I don't understand that one either. And it's so funny to me because the first 3 that you're mentioning to me, the credit that they're getting is due to lack of resources, right? As far as like Heineke being your quarterback, Jameis being hurt, and then the Niners being this, they have injuries and they're this hodgepodge at quarterbacks. Jimmy's like middle of the road to a lot of people. None of these arguments are valid or are hill of beans in comparison to what John has dealt with. I'm sorry, it doesn't even compare. So yeah, also another ridiculous one. It's like they were just picking coaches that are relatively popular.
Yeah,
Who
that's
else
what it
is? Who else
seems
you
like. The next on the list is Frank Wright of the Indianapolis Colts, who is
got?
at least he's at 500, Jimbo. I
Yeah,
mean, at least a lot of these guys on this list have losing records for their team. So right now, 6-6, second in the division behind the Tennessee Titans, who are at 8-4, and they lost their last game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So again, I'm left scratching my head as to why a team who is 500 has a coach that is an odds-on favorite ahead of John Harbaugh to win the coach of the year. Then ahead of him, Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills, who again not leading his division, looking up at the New England Patriots. While at least this team has a 7-4 record, has a winning record. I'm encouraged
that's the
to
first
see
one.
that. Yeah, but has lost to some of the. I mean, has had some stinkers on his team. I'm sorry, on his record, has lost some real bad games, and they have 2 games left with the New England Patriots, who right now they look like a tough team to beat. So let's check back on this team in the next 3 weeks after they take on New England twice, and let's see how they're sitting there. But let me ask you about the next one, because this next one's got me very frustrated. Sean McVay is by far ahead of John Harbaugh as far as the odds to win Coach of the Year. And haven't they lost? Let's see. They've lost 3 in a row. They're second in their division. They've lost 3 in a row. They traded for all these high-profile names, these big names, and they've lost every game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, what else do you need, offensive genius? What you've gotten everything that is given to you, like golden child. What else, dude? If you're gonna sit there and tell me you don't have what you need, it's on you, bro. And still, like you said, I mean, not leading their division, on a 3-game losing streak, not looking to be trending in the right direction by any stretch of the imagination, and they're older. Like I don't get it. I don't get that one either. Not by a long shot. All right, so we got McVay. Who else?
Yeah, we got some doozies next to him as well. Brandon Staley of the LA Chargers. So both the LA coaches above John Harbaugh. The LA Chargers, who are 6-5, barely hanging on to some sort of relevancy, and they lost their last game. And by the way, they've given up 20 more points than they've scored on the season.
And he's a defensive coach, right? Isn't Staley a defensive guy?
I believe so. Yes. What? I mean, I guess
he's got to be up there because of his sound bites. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, it's got to be the sound bites.
Yeah, he gives great answers, very thorough answers in his pressers.
That's the only thing I can think of, because 6-5, we beat the pants off of them. They're not top in their division. They're hard, like you said. They're hanging on to their dear life. They're on life support and playoff relevancy, and seem to be trending in the wrong direction. So not a good one. I'm waiting for a good one. I haven't heard one yet. Who you got after him?
Well, I don't think you're going to be thrilled to hear this one. It's Mike McCarthy, who looks like he'll be watching this Sunday's game from the couch, or actually this Thursday's game from the couch, because
he's on the probably
he's on the COVID list, so he's not even coaching this weekend. But they're winning their division. So we finally got to the first division leader. However, they're in a horrible division, and this is the only division that they would be leading in the entire NFL at 7-4. They've lost 2 games in a row.
Right.
Some in embarrassing fashion. Again, I don't understand.
You know why he's here? He's the best coach in the NFL, actually second best behind Andy Reid at ordering DoorDash. Can't you imagine?
The guy can put down some food.
Can't you imagine him in this game coming up, being downstairs in his man cave that's covered in shrines of Jerry Jones, and just ordering DoorDash, looking like O'Hare, the airport, just like 3
conveyor belt.
Yeah, exactly. Just have guys like stacked up behind one another, just bringing him food while he's watching the game.
I don't understand. I mean, this guy is constantly being criticized, and his decision making as far as game day, when you timeouts, challenge it, his all year has faced massive criticism, but yet he is by far ahead of John Harbaugh on this list.
It's funny because he's in the worst division, like you said, and he's gotten a way more offensively,
what else could you ask for? Yeah.
Right. Could you imagine Zeke Elliott in this offense?
He's got 2 great backs. He's got
Yeah.
4 great
We'd take
receivers.
either of them right now.
Exactly. He's got 4 great receivers. He's got a quarterback that they just put a whole lot of money, so they obviously like Dak Prescott and think he's a
And they
franchise
got a
guy.
line.
They got a defense that's better than they've ever had, and that I think we really need to credit Dan Quinn and not Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, he doesn't give a crap about defense.
I don't understand it. But moving on, Zach Taylor for the Cincinnati Bengals, who, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't the Bengals in the same division as the Ravens?
Yeah.
And who's winning that division?
Yeah, that's us. And they're arguably the healthiest team in the NFL.
Oh,
at this
definitely the healthiest team in the NFL.
I mean, that has a lot to do with it. Now, he's coaching his butt off, right? But,
yeah, give him credit. They did beat the Ravens, but right now they're second place in their own division. So I don't know how he's not just a little ahead of John. He is way ahead of John, but at least you can make the the head-to-head argument there. So at least you have some leg to stand on. The next one on the list is Mike Vrabel, who, they're winning their division. They have an 8-4 record, which is, by the way, inferior to the Ravens' 8-3 record. But I think everyone sees where this team is headed. I mean, you're talking about a nosedive of epic proportions. They've lost 2 games in a row. That the injuries, while the list is starting to near where the Ravens is, it's showing on their team far more than it's showing on the Ravens team. These injuries are destroying this team, whereas the Ravens are still finding ways to win.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that no one is saying the Ravens aren't going to make the playoffs. And it is not crazy to say today that the Titans aren't going to win their division. Most likely to be the Colts, in my opinion. Okay. And there's a chance, like you said, if that nosedive is of epic proportion, the AFC is so tight, dude, they could find themselves on the outside looking in.
No doubt.
Because they're bereft of the players that they need, while Lamar Jackson, once again, is in the same exact scenario, and no one is talking, and John Harbaugh, no one is talking about that. So it's just, it's crazy to me. Who's after him?
Yeah, and the last 3 you could at least make a good argument about. The last 3 in order, third to first, is Matt LaFleur of the Packers, Cliff Kingsbury of the Cardinals, and Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots. At least all of those 3 have, the top records in all of football. They do have, let's see, the Patriots are sitting at 8-4, which, by the way, is a worse record. But I can understand that with a rookie quarterback. They've won 6 in a row. I can at least understand the defense looks unbelievable. They're beating teams by a pretty wide margin. So I can understand the Bill Belichick. And look, you got to give credit where it's due with Cliff Kingsbury and the Cardinals. They're 9-2. They've been without their starting quarterback for a few weeks now, and they're continuing to still put together wins. They won last week. And then the Green Bay Packers, 9-3. They probably have the odds-on favorite right now in MVP with Aaron Rodgers, and they're leading their division. And by the way, we might have to stop calling the NFC East the worst division. The NFC North might be the worst division when you have the Lions and Bears bringing up the rear, and the Vikings at under 500, sitting at 5-6. But at least I could understand an argument about those 3 guys.
But I agree with you 100%. But the shameful thing to me here is that there's a ridiculous amount of folks in front of John. Number 1, he's 14th. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is that of those 3 guys, I mean, you said it yourself, especially, you're talking about the Packers. The NFC East, you get at least 4 wins if you're the Patriots, because you're going to beat the Dolphins.
AFC. Yeah.
Or excuse me, the AFC East, right?
Yeah.
The Dolphins, you're going to beat the lowly Jets, right? Then you talk about the Packers. They might rightfully so be in the worst division. So they got 6 wins right there.
Yep.
Even though didn't they just lose to the Vikings?
Did they end up losing that game?
I think they ended up losing that game.
Yeah,
but
that's right. A-Rod had a good game, and they still lost.
Should have 6 wins, right? Like they should sweep their division.
At least 4 with the Bears and the Lions.
But name one gimme for the Baltimore Ravens. You can't name one in the division.
No, I mean, there's certainly none.
This is the toughest, most physical division with a ridiculously hard record. A coach that is coaching a team that is on their 80th running back. Mm-hmm. And a lot of position groups are duct taped together right now, and he's getting it done. I don't get it. A lot of these close games, people talk about Lamar's being a magician, this, that, and the other, and I agree. I don't disagree. But a lot of these 3-6 point close game, last second victories come down to coaching decisions at the right moment, at the right time, sometimes subtle, sometimes not immediately noticeable. But John's been doing it. He's been out coaching these guys. He out coached Nagy. It was just really that simple. He out coached him. That's what it was at the end of the day. And I think you can go down the list. He out coached Stefanski, I think, this past week.
No doubt.
And played to his strengths. He knows what his strengths on this team are. And he got it done. So yeah, I think it's outright egregious, ridiculous, and disrespectful that John Harbaugh isn't in the top 5. I mean, at the very least.
Yeah. So is that where you would put him? So to me, if I had to say at the very lowest, I would feel, you could make an argument.
You said Vrabel's 4th?
Nah, Vrabel is Vrabel is 4th.
Yeah, so I would put John anywhere from 2 to 4. And I mean, for the sake of not sounding like a homer, I would put him number 1. But for the sake of not sounding like a homer, 1 to 4 is where I'll put him. There you go.
I think no lower than 4. 4 is the absolute starting point for John on this list. I can't understand it. It's ridiculous. I'm hopeful that this isn't a reflection of actual, like, how the vote is actually going to go down. But I will say this, unless we see a nosedive from the Packers, the Patriots, or the Cardinals, I think it's going to be tough for him to get up into that top 3, because if you keep winning and you're these teams right now, they have the edge over the Ravens. Well, I guess the Patriots technically have a worse record, but they've won 6 in a row, and they certainly look to be the hottest team right now in all of football. It's going to be uphill hill to climb. However, if John runs this out and wins and it ultimately becomes the number 1 seed in the AFC, even if the Cardinals continue where they are and they take the number 1 seed and maybe have a slightly better record, do you see a path for John to actually win this award?
Yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, the Patriots have to stall a bit, and you have to count on the Packers and the Arizona Cardinals tripping on their feet somewhere. Then obviously John continuing to pull rabbits out of a hat along with Lamar Jackson and the rest of the team. But I mean, that's really my only path. I think just by winning out isn't enough. At least in my mind, winning out beats Bill. But I think if you want to beat Kingsbury, like if Kingsbury ends the season with, what are they, 9-2 right now?
Yeah.
If he ends up with 2 losses, it's pretty hard that's pretty hard to beat.
You need some help, is what you're saying.
For sure. What about you?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think they're going to need somebody to fall back. But the good thing is, I mean, I could easily see the Cardinals losing a game or 2. When you look at their division, they got some tough games coming up. The Niners are no pushover right now. I mean, I don't think that's now I'll say this, the Seahawks look like a team that is just they're it looks like
short and a day late.
It looks like Pete Carroll has lost this team, or so, I don't know, definitely lost his quarterback. I think Russell Wilson's already making travel arrangements for his offseason visits that he's going to be courted by quite a few teams. So what I'm saying is I think the Cardinals still have a couple tough games ahead of them. They could fall back to the pack, and then who knows what happens. But let us know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Are these odds makers, do you think they're on point here? Do you think John deserves to be 14th in the league in MVP odds right now? Or I'm sorry, Coach of the Year odds right now? Are you as stunned by this as we are, having McCarthy, having who else was ahead of
Vrabel, McCarthy, McVay,
Staley, McVay, right?
Payton,
are we missing
Rivera.
Something? Yeah, Rivera. I mean, come on. What are we kidding here? I mean, the guy's got a losing record. Yeah, let us know what you guys think. Are you as shocked as we are? Are we out of line? Let us know all in the comments below, and we will talk soon.
See ya.